This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a 5 on a deep center.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Dolis Garcia sends one the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the line. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live from the Treehouse. We got happy hour. We're going to be here for the next couple hours. Hope you can stop by. Got the drink specials. Enjoy. We only have so many of these left. We're going to have bingo. I've seen the prizes. You got the Jose Canseco bobblehead. You got the Vita Blue bobblehead. I love the Stomper beanie, A's jerseys, A's hats. And they got a pretty sweet, Commander. They got a pretty sweet gift baskets with like the metal A's cups. The type of cup that you could use for coffee, you could use for cocktails, you could use for water. I would like one of those.
Sure, we can make that happen.
Yeah, I would be very interested in that. A terrific show coming your way here on A's Cast Live. We're going to have our A's historian, Dave Feldman. You recently heard him on the A's Total Access show with Ken Korak. He's going to be here because we're going to be doing the top 10. Oh, see, look at this.
I marked where we're supposed to stand.
Why would you stand over there?
Well, you were standing there, so we'll switch.
Yeah. He's put tape down. This is where we're supposed to stand.
Now we look professional. Oh, okay. I got our player.
Who do we got?
Grant Holman, my guy.
Grant Holman. Can we get somebody who's not 6'6" to stand next to me? You know who would be? You know who I miss?
JP Sears.
Well, I miss him, but he's going today.
Yeah.
Trevor Gott.
Yeah, we only had him on video or on video when we were doing a road game.
I had a long conversation with Trevor Gott today, and you might forget, reliever, veteran, was supposed to be a big part of the bullpen, got hurt, Tommy John surgery. We had him on the show, which was great because he is somebody who had Tommy John surgery from Dr. Meister, the Rangers doctor, who everybody talks about now. He invented the brace to go along with the Tommy John. So it's kind of like double coverage right there. And I got to talk to him today. He hasn't started throwing yet, but he's doing a lot of work. He's doing a lot of these, plyo ball workouts to strengthen everything, upper body, shoulders, because you can't really do anything for the actual elbow, but what you can do is forearms, triceps, biceps. So he's doing a lot of stuff. And, he's talking about coming along maybe May, start throwing to hitters, spring training and everything. And finally I look at him and I'm like, man, are you in the best shape you've ever been? Because he can't throw.
Yeah.
Right? We see him out here working out. Best shape he's ever been in his life.
It's a lot of cardio and a lot of lifting. Probably, right?
Guy could be in a triathlon right now. But so we're going to have Grant Holman, who cannot wait, from my neck of the woods where I grew up down in Southern California. And then, of course, Cal Bear, thrown right into – we talked to Mark Kotsay about it a little bit later on the Mark Kotsay show. We talk about throwing him right into the fire. And we'd been following him. We know he has terrific numbers, but now really excited about what this bullpen can look like going forward into next year. We did a good job talking about that yesterday on the Clubhouse show. We'll get into it today, just about how I think it's really easy to look right across the bay at a team in the San Francisco Giants, 10, 12, and 14, who won a World Series really based off. There's a lot of things you got to do to win the World Series, but they don't win it without the strength of their bullpen and how they utilize their bullpen. And during the show yesterday, you sent me this information. The great Patrick back here got us that information about usage. And you're starting to look at the usage of bullpens from just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Here's a team that won the World Series. Off the top of my head, I want to say it was 472 innings that the Giants bullpen pitched that season. we're in August, and we've got how many teams in baseball who are already over 500 innings with their teams? I mean, the A's, we're going to blow past this number, and it's just like, I get we love the bullpen usage and we like to get those power arms, but if you're going to get to the postseason, you're going to have anybody left. Look at the Rangers last year. They literally had nobody left but two guys, and Bruce Bochy rode those two guys. I think their Rangers are an anomaly from last year. You can't really I mean, they dogged the last of the season, got sent from being the team that's going to win the division all the way to a wild card where they got to fly to Tampa. They ended the season. They were upset with the way they played. Somehow, some way mustered enough to win the World Series. But you really got to think, if you're the A's going into next year where the bullpen could be a major strength, that's great. But how do you got to utilize them to get to the postseason, but how do you keep them fresh for the postseason? Something that we can get into.
Oh, I had the Giants. None of those 3 years, the Giants bullpen innings were over 500. It was 2010.
I said 472 is the most.
Yeah, it was 461 and 10, 452 and 2/3 and 12, and then 472 and 14.
472 is the most. We're going to blow past that. You can't do that. Well, you can, but I don't know what you're going to have left. Like, it's going to be like when you think about Stephen Vogt using Kotsay, who has been the best closer this year in baseball. At one point, using 4 straight days.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen, we're going to get you the postseason. What happens if you get in the postseason and this bullpen has nothing left? I mean, I know you got to get there, but you have to be smart, too, about it. And if we're going to start utilizing relievers more than ever, well, how do you manage that? And that's something we can talk to Mark Kotsay about probably in the spring, but really something we can talk to David Forst about, the general manager, going, if this is your strength, how do you utilize your strength and don't kill it? Because if you burn your bullpen out, it's now not a strength. If this is your strength, how do you keep it your strength and hopefully into what could be a playoff run? So David Feldman, our A's historian, top 10 Jose Canseco moments. As I wanted to do this a while ago, it just didn't work, but we'll finally get into it. And you know what? I know how much all of you love Jose Canseco. So really, anytime you can talk Jose Canseco, bang. When do you think we'll have Grant Holman?
Probably after I know they've been meeting at 5:15, so I'm assuming after BP, so somewhere like 44, 45-ish maybe.
Okay, and then how about Jared Koenig? Remember him? Came up with the Athletics, lefty, now having an unbelievable season with the Milwaukee Brewers. I caught up with him earlier today on the field. So happy for him. I can't say it enough. I've known him since he was a little kid. I know his father real well. I grew up over in Santa Cruz. His baseball story, his baseball journey is something everybody should hear. The different colleges, independent ball, through the minor leagues, and now really has established himself in the Brewers bullpen and has some starts. At 30 years old, there's no question. He has established himself as a big league pitcher, and he's going to be here a while. So I can't tell you how happy I am for him. And then we have the Mark Kotsay show for you at 5:30. We got a rip-roaring show. We hope George from San Francisco, one of our great callers from the A's Clubhouse show, gets here at some point on time because I have a special gift for him.
I can't wait for this. This is going to be great. That's it. I'm not going to give anything else away. George could be listening.
Or watching.
Yeah, actually, he does both.
Could be watching on YouTube, could be watching on Twitter.
I don't know what the metrics are for streaming on video, but in the old radio biz that we're in, George is a P1.
He'd be for Nielsen ratings, yes, he would be a P1, and we appreciate it. Obviously, the big takeaway today to start the show, you're hot and heavy today on Scott Service being relieved.
I mean, the Mariners are now 64-64. When they had how many game lead? 10-game lead?
Is everybody hot and heavy on Mariners baseball right now? The Mariners 17-25 since July 1st. Now 5 out in the West, 7.5 out in the wild card. Big shocker for you?
Since they had the 10-game lead back on June 19th, they've fallen 15.5 games in the standings while posting a 20-33 record.
Can I put that in the category of nobody cares? Who cares? Who cares about the Mariners? No. You give me you want the Dan Wilson data? You're gonna give me Dan Wilson? Are these taking over?
I'm still. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, so I know it's not our organization, but Dan Wilson. I mean,
Fine. You want Dan? Fine. You want Dan Wilson information?
I get it.
You're grinding Mariner. Fine. Yeah, I'll give it to you if you want it.
I get it. He's a Mariners Hall of Famer, but can he coach?
That's right. He is a Mariners Hall of Fame, which I didn't even know they had a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's in there. And then they have
Does every team have a Hall of Fame?
Probably. I know Barry Bonds is going in the Pirates one.
Giants or what? They have a wall.
They have a wall. Marvin Bernard.
Dan Wilson spent how many years as a Mariner?
11.
So since this is so big for you, we're going to do Dan Wilson trivia. How many years did Dan Wilson spend in their organization as a player?
11.
12. Where does he rank in games caught as a Mariner?
Most all time.
By a lot.
Yeah.
He is top 10 in games played, hits, extra base hits, total bases, doubles, RBIs, at-bats, and runs scored. I have more Dan Wilson information than I've ever had before because you want to talk. No, the big takeaway, and obviously I know where you're going with this, is are you looking at the right guy? And it's really hard when you're in management, and that's what a manager is, and also a general manager, is you're trying to salvage something at the very end. And they've had a really good relationship, and you could say a pretty decent run in the Pacific Northwest, even though it's only led to one playoff appearance. But they kind of brought baseball back, got it going again. People fired up because, you know, having made quite a few trips up there, obviously the Seahawks dominate. And with Pete Carroll up there and winning a Super Bowl, losing another, but 2 Super Bowl appearances, really the Seahawks took over that town. But really, in recent years, and remember when they qualified for the postseason and earned their berth in, that was against the A's, and everybody was going nuts up there in the Pacific Northwest. I understand the move. You could have your buddy. I mean, obviously, in the end, we are in a business of survival. So if, like, so many games left, they said, hey, you need to figure something out. Do you fire yourself or do you fire Cody? I'm firing you. As much as I love you and everything you've done for me and my family loves you, I'm firing you because I'm saving my job.
Yeah, I would probably do the same thing.
Yeah, you fire me.
I said probably.
No, you would stab me in the back and then take the job.
I'd stab you in the front.
Then in the back.
You'd see it coming.
But you've got to do Jerry DiPoto is not going to fire himself.
No.
So what do you do? Because when you start looking at the offensive numbers, they fired the hitting guru. They believe they've done everything they can, and the problem is just about the only guy, Cal Raleigh, is I want to say his OPS. So off the top of my head, I have written down. I want to say his OPS plus 114 this year, 114 last year. Everybody else down.
They have,
and at what point? I mean, you can't fire the players. You got to do something to try and shake it up here at the very end. Do I agree with it? Yes, I do agree with it because this is it. Because if Jerry DiPoto, he's going to be done. So what's it going to make? You could stay with Service, and the ship is sunk.
Yeah,
they are not. They have waited. They're trying. The boat, the water. You can't get the water out of the boat. The boat is halfway down. You are going down. This is like your last chance because Jerry DiPoto, I would believe if I'm him, I have to believe if this continues, I'm going to be gone. We're both going to be gone. So I might as well make a change, see if I can catch some type of lightning in a bottle and salvage this thing. I mean, essentially get lifeboats out and we all get onto lifeboats and we don't go to the bottom of the ocean.
So Dan Wilson takes over. I believe Edgar Martinez is going to be joining his staff. Are we going to get Buhner and Griffey and are they all coming back too? I mean,
Harold Reynolds.
I mean, K-Rod or
Alvin
Felix,
Davis.
Is A-Rod going to come back? Randy Johnson.
You want to bring A-Rod back? That might be.
But if you look at the Mariners right now, they have the lowest batting average in baseball. I mean, that's worse than the White Sox.
Go ahead.
They also have 7 guys with 100 strikeouts or more already, and we're not even at the end of August.
Well, that's baseball.
Yeah, and that they have the best team ERA and they have the worst batting average. They're wasting a historic pitching staff. What
do you do if you're management and you're Jerry DiPoto? You have to do something because if you don't do something, you're going to get fired anyway. You got your buddy Scott Service. Hey, this sucks, but I got to do something. And don't worry, Scott, in about a month and a half, if we don't make the playoffs, I'm probably gone anyway too.
He's not winning 54% of his games this year. They're only at 50% of the games.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to salvage your job, and you tell your buddy, sorry, but I'll probably be fired anyway too. You have to do something. You have to, like, you just can't sit here and flounder away.
I believe it was 9 seasons service spent in the Pacific Northwest. They hit 5 winning seasons, 1 playoff berth. Again, like, I get it why they got rid of him, but DePoto's been there for how many years and they have 1 playoff berth? I don't put it all on the manager, but I get why you have to make the move. It's just an organizational failure, I think, for them.
Well, let's just say this, and it's something that I love to talk about because baseball people don't like to talk about it. All of a sudden, there's something called expectations. Expectations in life, expectations in business. When they change, boy, it's a different deal, right? A couple of years ago, Scott Service and the Mariners, they're getting competitive. Okay, they made the playoffs. We make the playoffs for the first time since, what was it, 2001? They had the biggest drought of everybody, right? And everybody like, this is great. This is great. We're back. Seattle baseball, all of a sudden. But what happens after that? Expectations. When you start having expectations, things change. It really has been a benefit of everybody in our organization. Our organization has been very lucky that there aren't expectations, that the A's could always be, it's like the Moneyball story, the little engine that could. Hey, the A's do everything they can. They're super smart. They get to the postseason for X amount of years. They don't win. Well, once they don't win, what do? They blame me. It's the ballpark. It's this, it's that, it's that. And then they reload, and then here comes another group, and there's not expectations. I mentioned this the other night on the Clubhouse show. I can't wait to the day where there truly are expectations, and there are people that ask tough questions after the games, and they actually hold people accountable. The A's have been very lucky that they haven't had to deal with expectations like other franchises. And Seattle, David Feldman now joins us here, our A's historian. Seattle, they've had now the past couple of years, they have expectations, and it's different in life. When they say, well, what's the difference between playing in New York or let's just say the Northeast? There's expectations, and you have people that constantly are there to hold you accountable. That I'll ask you, why the hell is Andujar going after his helmet when he should be getting on first base, right? I mean, and there'd be a throng of people. Then they're asking the manager. And then you're saying, well, hey, Mason Miller had the day off. I know he pitched 2 innings in New York, but he had the day off. Why is he on? We don't have any of that. And there's never really been that hardcore. Well, there was when I first started years ago. There was more newspapers and more people around. That's back when the manager, they would do the meeting in the office of the manager, and the clubhouse was different. And there'd be a television camera in there. Wait, is it Halloween? What the hell is going on around here? Oh, it's a Pixar. Cars. I get it. I mean, we got big leaguers here today. I mean, when you talk about the voice of the stadium, Ruby Lopez of fame. I mean, Izzy, who's done an unbelievable job. I had to carry her through the ceremony, Hall of Fame ceremony.
I heard that was the other way around.
Well, however you. My daughter still thinks she had the best dress on. They were fashionistas.
MVP.
But do you get what I'm saying? Expectations. We see it in all sports, right? Warriors, there were no expectations. You win some titles. Now I expect you to win, or football, you name it.
Well, of course. And you're right. It was different in the Bay Area when there were 7 newspapers covering the A's daily. You had 7 different writers looking for different stories. So the questions came fast and furious. We don't have that anymore. We get 3 questions.
We have Martin Gallegos. That's it.
Yeah. Basically, it's not the same. And what's happening in Seattle, I'm with you. Seattle needed to change something. They weren't going to change the players. They tried that. They brought guys in at the trade deadline. With that pitching staff, it's so good, but you have no offense. You're having a historically bad offensive year. You can't change players, so you need to change the voice. And you change out Scott Service. Will Dan Wilson make a difference? We don't know. The only thing that comes close to this that I can remember, and it's interesting that the Brewers are in town, was the 2008 Brewers. They were in a mad scramble for the wild card with the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. With 12 games to go, they fired Ned Yost, the manager. with 12 games to go and made Dale Swaim the manager. Now, this was the CC Sabathia year in Milwaukee where he's pitching every fourth day. Dale Swaim goes 7-5. They actually get a 6-game winning streak in there, and they clinch the wild card on the last day of the season. The Mets lose to the Marlins, and CC Sabathia wins his games versus the Cubs. They go to the playoffs. That's what the Mariners are trying to do in this last, month and 4 or 5 weeks. Some sort of spark to get them into that wild card. I don't think they're going to catch Houston. Maybe if they get hot, that pitching is good enough, but you needed to change something. And unfortunately, in this case, it was Scott Service.
If we played a game, know your Mariners manager, could you tell me how many years Dan Wilson played and then how many years he played for the Mariners?
I think he played 12 seasons for the Mariners, right? 94 to 05.
He knows.
But here's what I'll tell you about.
He knows his Mariners.
I said 11.
But let me tell you something about Dan Wilson. When you used to go to the Kingdom and go to the Mariners games, the Mariners were one of the first teams to have walk-up songs for all their players. And Dan Wilson.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That is good Mariners knowledge.
It was
right
Seattle.
there.
And Dan Wilson was, he's the man, he's a mighty good man. That was his walk-up song.
Yeah.
And so every time Dan Wilson. And now
is that Salt and Pepper or what a man, what a
In
man,
Vogue,
what
I
a
think.
man.
I think it was In Vogue.
The knowledge coming
yeah.
out of this show today is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it was. So that's all I think of when I hear Dan Wilson's name. All I hear is that song. And the A's have been in Seattle. I want to say it's 3 times for 3 different Dan Wilson ceremonies. Like there was a retirement ceremony, there was some sort of number. I wasn't like an official number retirement, but some sort of deal. They love Dan Wilson in Seattle. And now he's brought in Edgar Martinez as his hitting coach.
Oh boy!
All right. Now I don't know if Edgar can impart what made him a great hitter to the new Mariner hitters, but it's a great move. You're trying to build this momentum.
You got nothing to
trying
lose.
To get people excited. Exactly.
Because Jerry DiPoto probably gets fired. If nothing happens, he probably gets fired.
Should be, right?
I got a question for you. What's the record for most hitting coaches in a season for a team? Is it the Mariners with 3 now?
Well, do you count the offensive coordinator as a hitting coach?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he technically the hitting coach and offensive coordinator?
Offensive coordinator. He's got a playbook. I mean, he's got things written down.
Boach has one.
Does he
Exactly.
keep his script over his? When you think Kingdom, do you think Seahawks or Mariners?
For me, it's Mariners because I went there so often to see A's Mariner games.
Huh.
I watched a lot of Raiders, Seahawks.
I see
games,
to me Kingdom Seahawks,
and I see Jim Zorn. I see Efren Herrera kicking a field goal. I see Largent making some crappy
Dave
pass.
Craig,
I see Jim Plunkett,
Kenny Easley
starting a playoff game there. Plunkett didn't play the last 2 months of the season. All of a sudden, they get in a wild card game in the Kingdom. We're going to put Jim Plunkett back at quarterback because we hate Wilson. We hate him, right? So Plunkett's throwing interception. But for me, it was going to there, seeing the A's, being there in 95 when they made their great run, the loudest ballpark I've ever been to, outside of the Coliseum and what we saw in 2012, was the Kingdom on a Friday night. The A's had a 6-0 lead with Todd Van Poppel on the mound.
Todd Van Poppel, undefeated in high school, folks.
Now it's 6-2. Vince Coleman comes up with the bases loaded and hits a grand slam. Vince Coleman hits a grand slam for the Mariners. This play, I thought the Kingdom roof was just going to pop right off. It was so loud in there. Mariners end up winning that game, a walk-off against Dennis Eckersley in the 9th inning. They sweep the series. They go on to make the playoffs. They get their new stadium. Everything changed. It all changed because of Vince Coleman and that grand slam.
Wow. I mean, I was going to bring up one of the great games ever of all time, Monday Night Football, Bo running over Boz.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Don't forget about Kurt Warner, the running back, not the quarterback,
Yes.
Kurt Warner, the running back for the Seahawks. All right, top 10 Jose Canseco moments since we just put Jose Canseco in the A's Hall of Fame. We celebrated, had a bobblehead, had a Jose Canseco Day. He was a part of Alumni Sunday. I can just tell everybody, no matter what you think, out of everybody who's worn the green and gold, and just from the fan voting has really, we go to the data, he may be the most popular A's player of all time.
I think if
Oakland A's player.
If you go with like Q rating, right? Like everybody
doubt.
knows Jose. He was in a Simpsons episode. I mean, this guy's Q rating is off the charts.
Obviously Ricky Henderson born here and played that, and now it's Ricky Henderson Field, but still to this day with the fan base, as much as everybody loves Ricky, everybody loves Stu, love Eck, you go back to Reggie and Catfish and everybody, probably the most popular Oakland A of all time, Jose
Yeah,
Canseco.
definitely the most known. And he was that rock star baseball player, right? Where he was a great player, and then his career sort of changes and becomes this kind of rock star figure, does these weird things. And, we're talking about doing this top 10 list. It's top 10 list from things on the field, because it could be things off the field.
Bumper
right?
cars on the freeway.
Bumper cars on the freeway. It could be running into Esther's car. It could be visiting Madonna late at night in New York.
Before we had, so can you imagine Jose Canseco might be one of the last baseball players who was a sports star. He wasn't a baseball star. He was a sports star. He was as popular as NFL, NBA guys.
Yeah. At that time, everyone knew who Jose Canseco was. Jet fuel in his car so he can make the car fly.
How did that work?
Not very well. So that was the thing about Jose. It wasn't just on the field, right? We know, like you talk about Ricky, we know about Ricky's on-field exploits. I don't know much about Ricky off the field, right? We know the story about the check and putting up the bonus check, but there's nothing like, there's some funny things, but nothing but activities or things that happen off the field. Jose, we know a lot about what happened off the field because he's in New York and he's got paparazzi following him.
Yeah, he's a star.
Because that's how big he was.
Yeah, Jose Canseco, top 10. You want to go honorable mention?
Or you
just got a top 10?
I think we just got to go right into the top 10.
All right, number 10,
and
Jose Canseco.
With his first at-bat ever in the Coliseum. It's 1985. We have heard about him. We saw him in spring training. He kind of had an interesting batting stance because he wasn't straight up like we know him now. He squatted a little bit more, but he had this tremendous power. And you look at his year in the minor leagues that year, 333, 36 homers, 127 RBIs. It's only in 120 games. So they bring him up.
That's monstrous.
Yeah, it's just huge. AA, AAA, he's blowing the doors off the place. He makes his debut in Baltimore, New York, goes 2 for 8, not a big deal. First game in the Coliseum, first at bat at the Coliseum, hits one of the longest home runs in Coliseum history. Now, I want you to think back before Mount Davis, where we're standing now would be Ice Plant.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it to rest right now. No one, not in batting practice, not in a game, ever hit a home run into the Ice Plant. It never happened. There were stories about Reggie or Jim Rice. Never
King
happened.
Kong.
Never. You got to think about how far back the Ice Plant was. All right. You're at the back end of the bleachers where you still have a 20-foot walkway there and then a 20-foot high wall. Then there's the Ice Plant.
Yeah, because we're like the fence to get into what would be like left center would be like back here.
Back here.
Right?
Yes. It's far back. It was probably about 560, 575 feet to get into the Ice Plant. It never happened. But this one by Jose, it cleared in almost dead center field, cleared the back row of the bleachers, and one-hopped that back wall on a line off Jeff Russell. One hop, the back wall, center field bleachers.
Was this against Jeff Russell when he was at the Rangers?
Texas Rangers.
Wow. So what would that be? How far would that
I mean, it's probably at that point, like I said, it's probably close to 480, 485. Maybe even it was far and on a line. And that's how he introduced himself. First Coliseum at bat.
Number 10. Now we do number 9.
So this one could have been higher if the outcome of the game and the series was different, but it's his World Series Grand Slam. Again, coming off this great season, now you're in the World Series, national spotlight's on you. Everybody's heard about you. Bays are trailing 2-0. His first at bat or his first plate appearance, he got hit by a pitch. This is his second plate appearances. The bases loaded, and he hits a line drive, again, dead center field, off the center field camera for a grand slam. It's still the only grand slam in athletics postseason history.
Wow.
All right, the Athletics in Philadelphia and in Oakland have been in the postseason a lot.
Yeah.
He's the only one to ever hit a grand slam.
And that series, because that's when everybody watched the World Series still, and it's Los Angeles, and it's Oakland, and, that was a big deal. That World Series was a huge deal.
Again, you have the biggest star in Jose. You had Orel Hershiser coming off the consecutive scoreless inning streak. A lot of eyes on this thing. Unfortunately for Jose, this is his only hit in the World Series. He went 0 for his next 18 with 2 walks.
If you're going to go big.
But Sam McGuire only had 1 hit in that World Series, and that was his walk-off here in Game 3.
And you wonder why they lost.
Exactly.
Number 8.
Number 8. So this one's kind of a personal one for me, but I think for a lot of A's fans, it was the changing of the guard. It was Tony La Russa's first game as manager of the Oakland A's, July 7th, 1986, Fenway Park, Monday Night Baseball. We've talked about this game a lot.
Monday Night Baseball.
Al Michaels on the call.
Monday Night Baseball.
This is National Game of the Week on Monday night. This is Dave Stewart taking the ball for the first time as a starter against Roger Clemens. Again, La Russa's first game as manager. Canseco and Dave Kingman go back-to-back off Roger Clemens. And this is the 86 Roger Clemens who's going to win the MVP and the Cy Young. Back-to-back, knock Clemens out of the game. It leads, Jose wins Rookie of the Year in 86. Even though he had a 0 for 40 in August. 0 for 40, which is still the longest hitless streak in Oakland history. 0 for 40, still wins Rookie of the Year.
He was 0 for 40?
0 for 40 in August.
How many games is that?
It was about, I think it was 9 games.
Wow.
He still finished with 33 homers and 117 runs batted.
Was there anybody calling the postgame show? You got to send him down. You got to send him down.
Was it Ken Dito maybe taking a call?
What? Yeah, send him down. Oh, my God. I love it. Kong and Jose.
Oh, it was great. I remember watching it. My parents' house, and it's Seiko Kingman back-to-back against Roger
Can you
Clemens.
imagine Kingman play today? He'd be much more appreciated.
He would be. Because he was power and walks. He struck out a little too much, but that's okay now. Nobody cares.
Seriously. I mean, how many times have Mariners strike out lately? You're giving some Mariners stat?
Well, they have 7 guys who have struck out 100 times already. So
7? Kong would have fit right in.
Right
Dave
there.
Kingman.
They talked about him in the Kingdom, that he would have been monstrous there.
We at 7?
We're at 7. In 1997, Jose comes back to the A's.
Oh, this is not good.
He's going to team with Mark McGwire, Geronimo Baroa, Matt Stairs. This is going to be Bash Brothers Part 2.
This is a softball team.
They're just going to hit home runs after home run. It didn't work out great. Eventually, Baroa gets traded. McGwire gets traded. Jose played a little left, a little right, a little DH. He had a couple moments, and this is one of them in San Diego. This is Jack Murphy Stadium. Him and McGwire go back-to-back, and then Canseco hits another homer. And it was like the old days. This was feeling it. They beat the Padres, feeling great, Jose. But for Jose, played 108 games, still hit 23 homers, 74 runs batted in, still good numbers for today's numbers.
I'd take that right now.
Exactly. Shut it down at the end of August. That year, Jose, he seemed to care a lot more about golf than baseball. That was a little bit of an issue. But you know what? Jose leaves the A's after 97, goes 98, has a huge year in 98 with Toronto. It's 46 homers with Toronto, still plays, goes to Tampa, goes to the Yankees, wins a World Series with the Yankees, ends up with the White Sox. But the return in 97 didn't work out quite as well as they hoped.
I'd take Jose Canseco and Barry Bonds right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. The two of them can give you 20 home runs easy.
Might be able to.
Right now. All right, number 6.
Number 6, this was a famous game. This is July 3rd, 1988 at Toronto Exhibition Stadium. It's a 16-inning affair where Jose hits 3 home runs.
Ooh.
His only 3-homer game as a member of the A's. He had one more with Texas. 2 of those homers came off Stottlemyre. And then in the 12th inning, tie game, 12th inning, Don Baylor gets hit by a pitch. Shocking, I know. Don Baylor gets hit by a pitch. He's pinch ran for by G. Nelson, the relief pitcher. G. Nelson. G. Nelson then steals second base. G. Nelson, the pitcher, with Jose up, steals second base. And then Jose took the next pitch and hit about 8 miles out of Exhibition Stadium for a 2-run homer. Toronto, unfortunately, ties it up again, but McGwire hits a home run in the 16th inning for the win. To cap it off, the next day, the A's are in Cleveland, July 4th. They play 16 innings again, and McGwire once again hits a 16-inning home run for the win. But the day before, Jose is only 3-homer game as an A.
So back-to-back games, McGwire hit a home run in the 16th inning. There's no way that's ever happened.
Nope. Craziness. On the road, 2 different cities, 16-inning games.
Thank God. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Number 5.
Number 5. Well, it's a sad day in Oakland history. This was August 31st, 1992. The A's are playing the Orioles. They have a 7.5-game lead. There's 32 games left. Jose's your starting right fielder. He plays the field in right field for the top of the first. Comes down to the bottom of the first. He's due up third.
Oh, don't do it. Don't call him back.
He doesn't come to the on-deck circle. They say, Jose, we need to talk to you. Lance Blankenship's going to hit for you. Jose is traded. Traded. The first time a team in first place traded their number 3 or 4 hitter at a trade deadline. Ever.
And at that point, was it the largest contract in baseball? Or
I think at that point now, Kirby Puckett or Cal Ripken had passed him at that point.
When he had signed, though,
that
the
was
25, whatever, it was the largest.
And, he was 22 homers, 891 OPS. But for Tony La Russa and Sandy Alderson, they just felt he was being too much of a load to deal with. Jose in 92, that was a very strange year here. Jose one time in the summer said, I'm going to go on the disabled list. That's what it was called then, the disabled list.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on the disabled list next week. What? Yeah. I'm going to go on the disabled list next week. And he did. And so what did Ricky do? Ricky goes, well, if Jose is going on the disabled list, well, I'm going to go on the disabled list.
Oh, my God.
It was crazy. And through all this, the A's with their pitching and just some magic, Randy Reddy with a big double for a game winner, are in first place. But they had enough, and they traded Jose to Texas. Ruben Sierra, Jeff Russell, Bobby Witt, and cash. Jose always liked to have the and cash. Crazy. And, it wasn't until 22 years later, a team would trade their 3 or 4 hitter in first place at the trade deadline.
Who would that be?
That'd be your Oakland Athletics once again, trading Jose.
How'd that work out?
Not well.
Can Lester against the Royals throw over the first base?
We've talked about this. We do not slander Lester. He witched in the 8th inning with the lead. 8th inning with the lead. It was not his fault. He gave us all he had. He put us in a position.
And what about the bullpen? They can't give it up.
Luke Gregerson, wild. Oh, jeez.
Number 4.
This is just the ALCS versus Boston in 1988. This is where the steroid rumors first came out.
Whoa.
Thomas Boswell wrote the article.
It for me. I'm in high school. I loved Jose Canseco.
Said Jose.
I believed.
He's got steroids. The fans at Fenway are, sing-songing steroids to Jose. Game 1.
And he's flexing.
He's flexing. He's great. He's just beating it up.
The best.
Game 1. Hits a 4th inning homer off Bruce Hurst to give the A's the lead.
The lefty Bruce
The lefty
Hurst,
who was murder on the A's. A's could not hit him during the regular season. They win that one 2-1. Game 2. This is against Clemens. Hendu makes a rare error in center field that leads to a 2-run inning for the Red Sox. So now the A's come up. Hendu, because he always makes up for his mistakes, base hit, brings up Jose, 2-run homer off Clemens. It's like, we don't care about your error and your 2 runs. Boom. Jose. And Lon Simmons was on the call. And Lon Simmons calls the home run, and he goes, I told you we'd be tied. Because between innings, he had told Bill King, the A's are tying it up right here.
Too bad you can't do it in Lon's voice because he had
I told you.
The greatest Montana. Yeah, Lon Simmons' voice was amazing.
So game 4, another home run against Bruce Hurst as the A's sweep this series. If it wasn't for Dennis Eckersley winning the MVP, Jose was going to be the MVP of that series. 3 home runs, all meaningful. A's sweep the Red Sox.
Do not ruin my high school, Chris Townsend in high school. Do not ruin this story with steroids. I didn't believe in any of that.
No, not at all.
They just worked out really hard.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, you laugh about it. They actually did. That was the one thing that they did do. Even though a lot of those A's players might have taken some performance-enhancing drugs, they still put the work in.
Well, because when you take anabolic steroids, things have changed with PEDs, but when you're taking anabolic steroids, you're running hot. You got to work out because you got a lot of stuff going on in your body.
Oh, and you had Dave McKay, who's still coaching to this day, right? Almost 40 years later, but he had them on a weight training workout system. These guys worked their butts off. So yes, they had a little performance enhancement, but they did put in the work.
This point, you really could pump weights all day long when you're doing the old anabolic steroids. Number 3.
So number 3, we learned a new part of the body thanks to Jose Canseco.
Oh yes,
the Hammett bone.
Yeah,
no one knew we had a Hammett bone. No one ever heard of a Hammett bone. What was a Hammett bone? No one knew. Jose breaks his Hammett bone in the spring. This is the first half of the 1989 season. We had no idea that this thing existed. Now he comes back right after the All-Star break in Toronto. The A's are still having a good year, but they're in a battle with the Angels for first place. And Jose in that first game back, 2 for 3, homer, stolen base, 3 RBIs. Everything's fine now, everybody. Jose is back. And he hits 5 homers in his first 9 games since his return. plays the second half of the year, hits 17 home runs, 57 runs batted in, which if he had played the entire season would have been 46 homers and 156 RBIs. All without a hamate bone, because as we found out, you don't need it.
Somebody broke it later on, and then there was every top draft pick should immediately have surgery and have it removed.
Yeah, I remember when Matt Olson broke his in Japan. When we were there, he broke his hamate bone and he missed the first 3 weeks. And now the recovery time, again, this for Jose was 3 months. They've gotten it down to 4 to 6 weeks. Pain management at that point, much different. But no one knew. No one had ever heard of a hamate bone before.
I mean, at this point, you're thinking Jose Canseco easily is going to be a baseball Hall of Famer.
Yes,
easily thinking that. Yeah. Now, once again, he's the biggest star. He's one of the biggest stars because that is the era of Bird Magic. Jordan is just kind of coming. I mean, he's coming in, but he wasn't what MJ. I mean, when you think of the sports stars, the late 80s, it's Montana and the 49ers, Bird Magic, Wayne Gretzky. Jose Canseco's up there with these guys.
100%. 100%.
Number 2.
Sky Dome home run.
Oh, my God. That was a bomb.
Game 4, 1989 ALCS. In the Sky Dome. Sky Dome had just opened that summer. Marvel, hotel, retractable roof. No one ever seen anything like it before. And Jose's in there. Ricky had given the A's a 2-0 lead off Mike Flanning with a homer. And then Jose comes up and hits one into the 5th deck. No one thought it was even possible to hit a ball that far. They measured it at 480 feet. Generous. Although Jose will say, I didn't get all
yeah,
that.
I know. It's so ridiculous.
And he's always said this. But I was reading a story, and one of the writers talked to a bunch of the teammates of Jose. We even got a quote from Billy Bean, who was he was not on the roster, but he was in uniform in the 89 team. He called it a home run of biblical proportions, was Billy's quote on the home run. Jose, after the game, said, I just missed it. More off the wrist than the fat of the bat. And McGuire said, he didn't hit it that hard. But let me tell you what this meant about Jose. I mean, this was an unbelievable home run, right? We all see it. We've seen the highlights. It's crazy. Later in the game, Jose had an off-field RBI single. And Jose, even at the time, said he was more proud of that single than he was of the home run. Because in 1988 and 89, when Jose cared, that's what made him a complete ball player. He had a 2-strike approach. He would shorten up with 2 strikes. He would not stride. He would just swing. And he would try. And that was the difference in that Jose to the Jose after he signed that big contract, because he cared. And the fact that he even mentioned, I take more pride in that RBI single than a mammoth home run, tells you all you need to know about Jose at that time.
It is a tough thing to think about the way baseball is played today and the baseball we grew up watching, because we grew up watching a baseball, and this is not the old curmudgeon, the way baseball used to be, because the way baseball used to be, a lot of guys choked up. It was a different game. We got, as kids and teenagers, the old school meets the power, right? All of a sudden, we've got big men, power, and then, steroids took everything from there. But we got that mid to late 80s, early 90s was really a beautiful blend of still great starting pitching. The A's and other teams are developing these bullpens, which was really interesting. Like, it was really a good era of baseball.
And you tailored your team to your ballpark, right? You had much more like Kansas City and St. Louis. You went for a certain type of player who was going to run and slash. Not as much as the power, but if you're in the Kingdome or you're in Fenway,
Jim Rice, you want right-handed power.
You're looking for mashers. So it was
Great
much
point.
Different then as you tailored yourself to the ballpark you played in.
Well, it's like Kansas City, you look at George Brett's numbers. See, now they like to talk about Bobby Witt and compare George. It's like, slow down, because they've moved the fences in. They've changed Kansas City. Back in the day, which, of course, Kansas City was in the American League West, when you got Willie Wilson, it was a monstrous ball.
And it was artificial turf. So the ball and that artificial turf was just carpet. The ball would just scoot. So if it went down into the corner, it was going to go up and around. You're going to get an inside the park home run. So you wanted fast players who could slash the ball line to line.
Like Old Tiger Stadium. Oh. It was a bandbox set out to center field, was
440 out there. In your right field, you had the roof hanging over, which is crazy.
Kurt Gibson just get it up there.
Oh.
All right, this is it. Number 1.
It has to be the first ever 40-40 season. 1988. This was Jose at his best. We've talked about some of the postseasons, but he had put it all together. Now, he, rookie of the year in 86, 87, he had an okay year. It wasn't great. McGuire, with his 49 home runs, was the bigger story. Home runs were flying out of ballparks that summer. Jose had another 30-homer year, but it wasn't great. But in 88, he came in determined to do something special, and he said, I think I can do 40-40. Now, remember, at this time, the most stolen bases he had in a season was 15. 15. And no one had ever done 40-40 before. Now, Willie Mays came close, right? And he often said, well, if I knew it was a thing, I would have done it. But no one had done it. Even 30-30 was still pretty rare at that time. But Jose went out, average, power, speed, the entire season. Very consistent. No 0 for 40s in 1988. He was a 300 hitter. He hit 307. Again, two-strike approach. He stole bases when they mattered, and he mashed the ball. Mashed the ball with McGuire. This was a full season. Unbelievable. He only got caught 16 times. And the number that stuck out to me when looking back at his splits, he had a 300 average, whether he was behind in the count or ahead in the count. It didn't matter. Because it told you that when he got behind, he shortened up, two-strike approach, get the base hit. It was a complete season. And it went all the way through that grand slam until the 0 for 18 afterwards. That's how good he was.
I've tried to explain, and I used to do it. It was pretty easy to say, hey, listen, Jose's the only guy that's done it in a year that matters. And then Ronald Acuna Jr. did it last year. But still, in an era that was different, if you know of the eras, if we love to put an X in front of everything, XWOBA, XFIP, exit, if we talk eras, Jose's 40-40 is different than everybody else's. Because a lot of those guys did it in losing seasons. And also the difference between like Acuna now, it's like everybody's shooting for home runs. Back then, everybody wasn't shooting for home runs. So to have that power and the stolen bases combined was pretty amazing to do that in the 80s.
Yeah, and you think about the guys who've done it since, right? Barry Bonds, who you mentioned, Alex Rodriguez.
These are last place seasons.
Alfonso Soriano.
Last place season.
And then Ronald Acuna. Shohei Ohtani is going to do it this year. And I think Shohei is in that McGuire.
Maybe by tonight.
He's in that Canseco category where it matters and how quick he's doing it. I mean, he's going to get close to 50-50 if he stays at this pace, which seems just incredible to think about, right? And he's doing this after coming off Tommy John surgery. But that's what's similar to me to Canseco. The fact that Canseco says this in April, he doesn't realize no one's ever done it before, but he wants to do it. That's the difference again in what that 88 Jose was like. This guy who cared, who wanted to play, wanted to be a great baseball player, and he had the talent to do it. He put the work in, and he was able to do it.
So we've talked about how Jose was the biggest star in baseball. Never forget the All-Star game at Wrigley Field, and people are hanging out of the building saying, hit it here, Jose. It's in a National League park. He was the biggest deal. Madonna, paparazzi, New York. Jose was a big deal. For you, as our A's historian, we just put him in the A's Hall of Fame. You know how much it means to him. He choked up, he cried. Just overall, how should we remember Jose Canseco in A's history?
I want to remember Jose for those late 80s, what he was, what he represented. You know, Coliseum crowds after Billy Martin, right? 81, rejuvenated Oakland baseball. In 80, 81, 82, kind of went back down again. When we go to the Steve Boros years, we still have Ricky, but then we trade Ricky. There's no excitement in Oakland. Jose brought the excitement back. He was, that prospect on the rise. Everyone had heard about him, and then we got to see him in September of 85. We saw him all of 86. People want to see Jose. He's where you got to be here to see him. And then you paired that with Mark McGuire, and the Coliseum was the place to be. And I'll always remember this right before the 87 All-Star break. McGuire is going for his 33rd home run. It's a weekend series against the Brewers, who were in the American League at the time. You would expect, 20, 25,000. 35,000 people here. And that's when you went around and went, it's coming. And for me, that's what Jose and Mark and those 80s teams, getting Ricky back, that brought baseball back to Oakland. And that's how we should remember him, as his stud ball player. Go on YouTube, watch the highlights, watch people put home run packages together. And I remember watching it live. It was unbelievable to watch. The power, the speed of his swing, and how far he'd hit the ball, and how meaningful they were. It wasn't down 7 in the 8th inning hitting a solo jack. It was first, second inning, 2-run bomb, puts the A's ahead. Game's over because you have Stu on the mound or Welch or Moore, and you got Honeycutt and Eckersley's going to follow up. Game is over because Jose put you ahead.
I've never been a huge fan of when younger fans who didn't really live that era try and use that era when they start talking about attendance and stuff. It's like you don't understand. They went to 3 straight World Series. You don't understand that what happened during that time is not something you replicate.
No.
As good as the start of the Billy Bean era was, when you start having Giambi and Tejada or MVPs, you have the big threes, you have success, you still could not replicate the stardom that team had at that time and where baseball was. You just can't. So when people go, well, what about then? You go, you're not replicating that.
No. Remember, the Coliseum was the place to be. Remember when the Giants opened Pacific Bell Park?
Yes.
That was the place to be. It didn't matter whether the Giants were good or bad. It was the place to be. It's a place to be seen. The Coliseum was that place in the late 80s. You wanted to be here. Weekday afternoon games was 40,000 people because you were taking off work to go see an A's game on a Wednesday afternoon, business person special, because it was the place to be. It was everything because you had rock stars on the field. Rock stars. Canseco, McGuire, Ricky, Hendu, Stu, Eck. I mean, just the roster. And we keep saying these names. And yes, it was almost 40 years ago. I get that. But it was that special of a time. It's hard to replicate, as you say, almost impossible to, the greatness of those teams and then the rock stars of the players. You know, those Yankee teams who were so good, they didn't even have, Jeter was Jeter, but Paul O'Neill, no one's paying $1 to see Paul O'Neill play.
No.
You're paying $1.
Bernie Williams is good. Yeah. I mean, they had, Scott Brocious, then to Charlie Hayes. They had, but it's not.
But not like
Tino
this.
Martinez. And here's something, we take steroids out. When we were growing up, we're saying Ricky's a Hall of Famer, Jose's a Hall of Famer, McGuire's a Hall of Famer, Eckersley's a Hall of Famer. You can make a case for Stu. You're starting to look at, you got 25 guys, and you have over 10% of your roster you believe is going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's why I say you can't replicate that.
No, it was such a special time. Again, some drafted, some trades, and some getting lucky. Right, Dave Stewart was getting lucky bringing him here in '86 when he was basically, everyone thought he was washed up. But the move, Sandy Alderson, Tony La Russa, the fans, the ownership, everything combined for this unbelievable time in Oakland baseball. And Jose was the biggest star among all of them. I don't think people understand that he's in New York, paparazzi's following him, and he goes to Madonna's apartment. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
And I wish our younger fans could truly understand that, like back then, when ESPN is really starting to grow, when they would do their baseball previews, the A's were the first team.
Always.
They were the biggest team. The A's were because of these stars, they were the biggest team in baseball. They were the biggest draw. You wanted them. It's like hard to even think now, but you wanted them in prime time.
You wanted them, and you watch the A's go on a road trip and roll into a visiting city, and the fans at the hotel, and whether they got there at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m, packed with fans, get autographs, get photos. It wasn't camera phones. It was actual cameras taking photos, trying to get autographs of these guys. The place was packed. I imagine it's very much like when Steph Curry is on the road with the Warriors. You want to see Steph Curry. That's what it was like with this A's team. You wanted to see these guys, and it was the biggest show in town. And every time they were on the road was the biggest game for whoever they were playing.
All righty. That's going to do it for the Jose Canseco Top 10. Before we get out of here, though, now let's just put the A's hat on and what you're doing, obviously, what you do with NBC, or if you're going to be the official scorekeeper for MLB. But when you're looking at what do you want to see from here on out from this team? You've seen from July 1st, you've seen them get better. You're seeing promise. Maybe the start of another run, but what would you like to see the rest of the way?
Yeah, I like to see this just continue with the winning series. That's what you look back at 2018 and 2019, those wild card years. what made those teams successful was winning series. This team now is believing they can win baseball games. They've proven it now for a month and a half that they can play toe-to-toe with any team. Even sometimes in July when the offense was fantastic, and now in August when the offense is back to struggling, they're still able to find a way to win games. So now it's take the next step is to win series. They've done a really good job. They've only lost one series, I think, in the last 11. Continue that going. Again, we need to see progress from Geloff over the last month. This has been a bad year by Zach Geloff. He needs to improve. He needs to go off on a high note. Max Schumann has stopped hitting. We need to see him starting to hit a little bit more again. And the other players to continue what they're doing. It's just progression, right? It's seeing these guys get better. It's seeing some of these pitchers take the next step. JP Sears has seemed to take that over the last few starts. It's not just giving us that he goes to the mound every fifth day. He's giving us 7 innings every fifth day. Totally different ball game at that point. You want to see Joe Boyle continue his progression. Estes become a major league pitcher. It's all just growing and growing. But for me, man, if you can keep winning series, you're going to go into spring training next year feeling, yeah, we are a possible playoff team.
As the great Bay Area Radio Hall of Famer Marty Lurie would say, you're a treasure.
Oh, you're very kind.
You're a treasure. The great David Feldman, our A's historian. Coming up, do we have George in San Francisco anywhere for the present? Road Trip Mike has shown up. Mustang Matt is here. Everybody is starting to show up. Grant Holman is going to be here when?
That's why I keep looking at my phone to see when.
And we have the Mark Kotsay show. Jared Koenig, we still have to play. That's all coming up right here from the Treehouse. You're watching and listening to A's Cast Live.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the pennant race action and the upcoming NFL and college football seasons. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
It's summertime, and I can guarantee you probably need to redo your wardrobe. You want to look good, and you want to feel comfortable. This is Chris Townsend, and you got to go check out my friends at Link Soul. They've got all the finest fabrics. You're going to love the shirts, the polos, the shorts, you name it. Redo your look for summertime. Go to linksoul.com right now, and you can get an offer for 20% off. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Being a Chevron car these days has been quite the adventure. Miami to Seattle, ocean to ocean. I've stopped at so many states and collected so many bumper stickers. Sometimes I feel like a moving passport book. It's just so great what I can do with Chevron with Techron, because it gives me unbeatable mileage and keeps my engine clean. Plus, there are so many Chevrons along the way. Now the only thing I'm worried about is where to go next and where to put all my new bumper stickers. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
And the underdogs, Oakland Athletics, win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
God, Cody's freaking out because I'm over there talking to the see the young lady over there in the Astros jersey. So I go over there, and Cody's like freaking out. Cody, we're live. This is live. We're live.
I operate like we're a high-end production television studio station.
Why?
I don't know.
That's boring. All those shows have gone out of business. We're on the fly, man. We're in entertainment. So I went over and I asked her, why are you wearing an Astros jersey? She said she came to pay her respects to the Coliseum. So that immediately put me on defense. And then I'm like, well, are you from Houston? She says, yes, I am. So you know what? I'm cool with that. And to make it even worse, I don't know who the guy is with her. He's wearing a Red Sox jersey.
I've seen multiple Red Sox jerseys here today already. And it's what, 5?
But how usually I would rip somebody for wearing an Astros jersey to our game. But if you're an Astros fan who grew up in Houston and you're here to pay your respects one last time to the Coliseum, I can't be a smart aleck about it and take cheap shots at her.
No, and
I can't. And she's drinking beers.
And it's coincidental, or is it ironic that right behind us is the Astros-Orioles game that's on, and the Astros are leading right now in the 3rd inning.
But how do you take a shot at somebody like that?
You can't now.
No, I can't. I went up there with great bravado. I was going to do my lay into her a little bit, kind of funny, and she just shot me down so fast, and I just went, much respects.
It's like Johnny. You can't make fun of him when he has his A's hot takes because.
Yeah, Well, we had to cut Johnny's A's hot takes, because if your hot take is always the A's are going to do something really good, then how do we rip you when it doesn't happen?
Well,
for example, I 2 years in a row have gone against this Milwaukee Brewers team.
That's a fact. You still haven't gone to apologize yet.
And I want to go into their clubhouse if Pat Murphy, can I go do the old dumb, hey, Skip?
Might have to. I mean, he's a Pat Murphy, good baseball man.
Hey, Pat Murphy's a head coach at Arizona State.
Good baseball man.
So I want to go into their clubhouse and men, can we gather around? Men, I want to apologize. I've doubted you 2 straight years, and I'm the horse's ass that has doubted you for 2 straight years in this thing we call hot takes, because I'm sure the Brewer players would really care about our hot take segment.
I'm sure Christian Yelich, when he was healthy, was grinding. He was playing. It was bulletin board material when you were picking it. And you said Oli Marmol and the Cardinals were going to catch him.
Yes, and that's so possible. And I kind of did it at a spite because of you, because you like the Brewers.
That's correct.
Well, you liked him when David Stearns was running.
Yeah, I did.
He's now in New York.
Matt Arnold's done. He'll do a nice job. The guy that took over.
And for example, you took my predictions and you've put them in the hot take opening to make fun of me.
I do it for everyone, but yes, I do
Correct?
it. I do it for love.
Well, how do we rip Johnny if everything is? I think the A's are going to win. I think the A's are going to be good. I think this guy. Like, how do we rip him? We can't, because then we look like bad guys,
bro. There will be a hit in the game today,
bro. Jacob Wilson, he's going to get 4 hits.
He had 2 hits last night, though.
I mean, you got to give us takes that we then can slam you for being wrong. That's part of the bit. Not I'm an A's homer, and I'm always going to tell you I love the A's. I think they're going to be good.
I do like that him and I the same day went with future takes with me with the Blake Snell no complete games.
My God!
And then Johnny goes, "Hey, Rafael from the Red Sox, we'll win an MVP
in the next 5 years." So we got to hold on to this take for 5 years.
Put in a time capsule.
So that's why I had to step out and go pro A's to a guy that used to play here. Sean Manaea, another good outing. I predicted Sean Manaea would be the National League Pitcher of the Month. I'm still in the running for that. See, that is something.
Yeah,
I got. There's an ending. There's an ending to that where I either got to be right or wrong. I feel like Colin Cowherd. Was Colin right or was Colin wrong?
Where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong.
That actually is a good bit. We may steal that for later on.
Well, it will be football season, so we can just start doing it football takes.
Oh, we can start.
So we're going to have Holman.
What do you want to do?
We're going to have Holman in about, they said around 5:20, so we should probably do Koenig now.
All right, Jared Koenig, Bay Area. Well, he's not, Santa Cruz is not Bay Area. That's Monterey County, correct?
Correct.
Don't look at the kid from Petaluma. People from the north part of the Bay know nothing about the Bay Area. That's a generalization. A lot of people who grow up Santa Rosa, Petaluma, they have no idea East Bay, South Bay. They're very limited.
Even over Santa Cruz.
Very limited in their Bay Area. Have you ever been to Santa Cruz? If I said to you right now, drive us to Santa Cruz, could you? He said probably. No, it means he couldn't. You wouldn't know which freeways to take.
Which cardinal direction you go to Santa Cruz? What direction is it to go to Santa Cruz? What direction is it to go to Santa Cruz? There's north, south, east, or west. Which way you? Well,
he doesn't
it's
know.
South.
He doesn't know. That's right, guys. From Petaluma, he doesn't know. Could you get to Monterey? There's multiple ways to get to Monterey. Pebble Beach. God, these kids from the North Bay have no clue about the Bay Area. Could you get? It's not. Could you get to Livermore? You could. What freeway goes to Livermore? Yeah. All right, there you go. All right, you can get to Livermore.
Yeah, you can take BART.
I would bring up Mountain House, but you just go past Livermore to get to Mountain House. These kids don't know the Bay Area. I'm telling you, they just don't know. They live up there in their little Marin and Petaluma.
We call that the North Bay.
They're all drunk on Lagunitas, and they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Lagunitas. It is a great brewery. All right, Jared Koenig, who grew up in Santa Cruz. This one's special to me. I know his father real well. I'm so proud of him. He's reestablished himself as a true big leaguer here with the Milwaukee Brewers. Former A, kid who, spent a lot of time in San Jose, spent a lot of time. So I say he grew up in and around, playing around the Bay Area and in the South Bay. Here is my interview earlier today with Jared Koenig. Well, it is great to see you. Welcome back to Oakland. How are you?
Great to see you too. I'm doing well. I've got a good spot to play. I'm getting a lot of opportunities, and I'm enjoying it.
So for a lot of people, I've known him since he was a little kid, and I've known his father for many, many years. And I remember when your father contacted me about, you're coming to the A's organization and you pitched so well and you got called up and you got to pitch here. But I'm so proud of you from a standpoint of what you've been able to do in Milwaukee. He's having an unbelievable year. A lot out of the bullpen, some starts. Your numbers are fantastic. It's like you've truly found a baseball home with the Brewers.
Yeah, no, like I said, they've given me every opportunity that I could ever ask for, and going from the A's to the Padres, and I get an opportunity with the Padres, and then getting the opportunity this year, it's been wonderful.
So what do you think? Because we know how well you'd thrown the ball at times at the big league level. You kind of dominated AAA, even though it's a offensive league. What's really happened this year for you to where you have that confidence to put up these type numbers?
I think a lot of off-season work, getting in. I mean, my velo's up. Obviously, that tends to help. Shaping pitches a little differently to make sure I utilize them, and then I think the opportunities I'm getting put into are the hitters I'm facing. Like, it's geared towards success, I think, and I think the team is really geared towards that. I mean, and then our defense is elite. I mean, we have, I think, the top defense in the league, and when you have a good defense, you can trust throwing the ball wherever you want it, and if there's a good chance of it getting fielded by the team.
Playing baseball at the highest level, it's the best thing. But even better than the best thing is playing when you're playing for something. And right now, where the Brewers are, the year that they had, talk about what that clubhouse is like and what it's like every single game. You're battling to win the division and, of course, play in the playoffs and compete for the championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice getting to be on a competing team. I haven't done that in a long time. And the clubhouse is loose. We're free. We're all here supporting each other and wanting the best out of every single person, which is all you can ask for when you're on a team. And I truly enjoy having everyone's back, and they have my back. It's been fun.
I try to explain all the time. It's a culture that's been created, and there's going to be different managers. There's going to be different coaches. There are going to be different players. We just saw the Rays here. I talked a lot about with the Rays, and this is, the ecosystem of the Brewers. This is one of the greatest examples. Pat Murphy takes over. Yeah. Corbin Burns left. So you lose your manager, you lose the star pitcher. Brewers have lost a lot of players, but yet the Brewers just keep doing the Brewer way. So what is the Brewer way? Now that you've been immersed in this and you're a part of it, why can these guys lose a manager, lose star players, and still stay on top?
I think, they picked the right person for the job, at least with managerial wise. He's been here for a few years, understood kind of how things work, and he's very free. He's very supporting. He gives you the right nudge and when you need it. Other than that, I think the Brewer way is finding guys and getting the best out of them. However that may be, whether it's finding a hitter that can field a position or making the right trades like they did with, we got Joey Ortiz and DL out of that. And they're both solid players and will be here a long time.
When you come back to the Bay Area, you grew up over the hill in Santa Cruz. When you come back here, obviously playing for the A's, but come back here, going over to take on the San Francisco Giants. What's it like to come back home? How many people show up? I know your dad's all fired up, but What is that like?
It's special, especially knowing what's at stake with this team and this year here in the Coliseum. It's something special to come back and where I got my first win, the first team I played in the big leagues with. So, and somewhat local of the team, it's nice to know, and I'll have a bunch of family in the stands supporting me, and then that I can be here where it all started.
Your baseball journey is amazing. A couple different colleges. There's a lot that's gone on.
Yeah.
Do you ever sit back in the dugout and go, wow, I can't believe the journey to get here and I'm here? Because a lot of guys don't take that kind of journey.
No. My journey is definitely atypical, and I'm fortunate for it. I think it helped me grow immensely, physically, mentally. I've definitely learned a lot about myself in that aspect, and I'm fortunate for it. It's not an easy one, but I know I can do it, and I know I've done it, which is great.
Well, I'm so proud of you. It really is to watch you grow up and to now living out your dream. There's nothing better. And you're on a team. You're going to pitch in the postseason. It's really – they're going to be in the postseason. I'm not jinxing anything, but hopefully pitch. I mean, think about that. What do you think about that, pitching in the postseason?
I mean, I haven't done it since indie ball for our postseason stuff.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun. Just at that aspect, I can only imagine what it'll be like with the full stands.
Congratulations on everything. Go get them. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you not pull for a guy like that? Everything he's been through. It's been a really long baseball journey. You know, I think of Jared Koenig. I think of Tyler Ferguson. Yeah, you think about these guys, Armando Alvarez. You think about these guys' journeys. They're all different. I mean, even Jared, even more so, the multiple colleges, everything that you go through is absolutely unreal. Well, we got a special surprise. Our man George from San Francisco. If you listen to the A's Clubhouse show, George from San Francisco came into our lives, and he's a great caller. He's been unbelievable to us. The fans absolutely love him. How are you?
Do.
How
you doing, Towny?
You've been loyal to the A's Clubhouse show.
Definitely. It's a great show.
When did you find the show?
I found the show after 2023, the WBC. I just listened to radio because, I started getting back into baseball after the World Baseball Classic. And you sounded really nice on the radio. You sounded really good. A lot of the points that you're talking about, I was like, I really understand what you're saying. And I was like, I got to start calling. And then especially since the A's actually pulled Fujinami out of the dungeons in Osaka, I was like, I got to start supporting the A's again. Yeah.
All right, well, I have a gift for you.
We have a gift.
I have a gift for you.
Okay.
This right here is a never used signed Japanese glove from Shintaro Fujinami.
Towny, I am underdressed. May I wear a tie for this occasion?
This is it, my man.
No, may I wear a tie for this occasion?
You have a tie?
I have a tie.
Yes. He's going to have a tie. This glove is brand new. It's never been used. Shintaro Fujinami gave this glove to Mark Kotsay when he was traded. And Mark Kotsay gave it to me. And I'm giving you something that most fans will never have.
Towny, the unofficial.
A brand new Shintaro Fujinami. That's his glove signed to Mark Kotsay.
Towny, the unofficial Fujinami fan club is in the building with no makeup on. And what you see is what you get, Towny. Thank you so much. Please tell Kotsay thank you so much. This means a lot to me. I'm just going to keep this as a personal house treasure. It has a Z, everything Fujinami signing. Fujinami's writing is great. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is a great, great honor. Great, great present. I'll take care of it.
Don't be like one of those kids that goes out and starts throwing it around the street.
No, it's not going to be used. But Towny, since you have a great heritage and your grandfather is the former manager of the Kansas City A's, I have a special request for the great Mark Kotsay. May I say the request to Kotsay?
Go right ahead.
So my special request to Kotsay is that the Major League Baseball and also Japanese baseball, usually twice or three times a year, they have an all-star matchup between each other. And since Corona, it hasn't happened for roughly 5 years or so. And I'm requesting that Kotsay help lead a delegation of MLB All-Stars back to Japan. And you could talk to Dave Roberts about it. You could talk to Tori Lavello about it. We need to have it as soon as possible. The one reason is because Towny's grandfather is manager of the A's. Kotsay is also the current manager of the A's. But it's important that the people of Nagoya, Japan, and the Chunichi Dragons are able to honor Ken Maka. And I hope that Kotsay, you can request that Ken Maka throws out the first pitch when the all-star team for the Major League Baseball and the Samurai Japan team play in the Nagoya Dome coming in the near future. So that's my only request. And also you could have Butler come. You could have Langoliers come. You can have all kinds of young players come. It's a great opportunity. Even Geloff too.
I want to go.
Yeah, and bring A's Cast live. Bring
Yeah,
these
I
people.
want to.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Japan for a third time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. This is a great honor. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like we've had it,
Very
and you know, I thought that it'd be better in your hands than than Cody playing with it in my garage.
I better not see this on eBay either.
Yeah, if this shows up in eBay, George, we will track your ass down.
No.
We will track you down.
Yeah. But this is the actual signature. It's got the 11.
Now, what is this?
This right here is from the defunct Fujinami fan club of Osaka. I'm keep on telling A's.
There was a fan club, and they gave those out in Japan?
Towny, Fujinami's kind of sort of a big deal.
He's a big deal?
He's a big deal. And he'll be
So
great.
what are you going to do when you tell people you have his glove? What are they going to say?
They're going to say, can I see it? I'm going to say, you better go watch A's Cast live and talk to Towny. Yeah.
All my Japanese friends, come to us.
You got it now. All right.
So that's the closest I got to Fuji coming back for you.
Okay.
I can't promise Fuji ever coming back playing for the A's.
Yeah.
That's the closest I have.
Okay. All right.
I want to thank you because I can tell you when you call in, whether it's dude, or it's Dr. Emo, whatever it is, you have brightened up the A's Clubhouse show. We got a lot of curmudgeons. We got a lot of negativity. And that's just, the nature of a post-game show. It's a complaint line. You have always brought the positivity and not complaining, and you put a smile on people's face. So that is a gift from the A's Clubhouse show and A's Cast.
Thank you.
Nice. Paging Dr. Emo.
George in San Francisco, everybody. Coming up next, I think Grant Holman. And we got the Mark Kotsay show. Guys got to show up because we're running out of time. So Grant Holman will be here. Mark Kotsay, all coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intendant and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Ever wondered what a 30-foot tall pistachio looks like? A giant redwood or Big Sur? Chevron with Techron will be there to help you see them and tons of other places you have to see to believe. Because with unbeatable mileage and a clean engine, cars feel great. So next time you want to fill up on a little adventure, an awkward family photo, or a new commute to work, make sure to fill up at Chevron's along the way. Your car and your memories will thank you. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try the world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
How's this going to work? Look how tall, Grant, look how tall you are. I need a box. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I told you we'd have you on the show.
Yeah, you did.
How are things?
Things are great. It's been an awesome first week, just trying to soak it all in and learn some things as I go.
How about this? Your first week in the big leagues is the exact same time I moved my twins into Cal as freshmen.
All right, yeah. New
Former Cal Bear.
Yeah. Go Bears.
Yeah. Nerve-wracking for both of us this week.
Absolutely.
I love the way that they threw you right in. You got thrown into a tough situation. You have proven in the minor leagues, especially this year from AA to AAA, that you're ready for that challenge. Not a soft landing. What was it like making your debut where you really don't have time to go, oh, my God, it's my debut. You're trying to win a game.
Yeah. It was awesome. You know, the whole day was kind of a whirlwind, just getting here, getting settled in, meeting the guys. But overall, it's awesome. You know, I think it was – anytime I go in there, I'm just trying to do what I can to help the team win, and it happened to be, a bigger situation in the game. I'm just happy that I was able to get the job done and help us get that win.
What's the nervous energy like waiting to get that first outing in?
The bullpen nervous energy is different. I've been relieving for 2 years now.
Yeah.
I love it, but it doesn't compare to being a starter. It's just different. I think I've learned to embrace it. I love it. The suspense of not knowing when you're going to go in is something that's different, but it's a lot of fun sitting down there and just, cracking jokes with the guys watching the game. And then, your name gets called. Next thing you know, you're in there.
It's the same thing that what's happened with Mason Miller, right? You got guys who are starters and have had trouble staying healthy as a starter, put you in the bullpen. And I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Mason Miller about how much better at times it is to be in the bullpen, because that adrenaline rush, especially at the end of games, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, there's nothing that compares. I think obviously, you get an adrenaline rush as a starter, but it's different. So yeah, coming out of the bullpen, I mean that feeling you get when you're jogging in from the bullpen mound to the game mound is there's not much like it.
Got the song going. It's like the finality of the game. Now, obviously, you're not closing right now. You could be closing in the future. Just talk about how it changes for you. Now you don't need all these different pitches. Now you don't need to go through a lineup a second, a third time. You're coming in to get outs right now. So what was the big change for you stuff-wise, paring down from starter to reliever?
I mean, really all I changed was I went from a predominantly sinker to throwing a four-seam. I think that's, I think the four-seam is just a better pitch, so throwing the better fastball has been helpful to me. And then just really, focusing on improving the slider and the splitter. I think as those have improved, I've kind of seen the results get better. And, just continuing to try to hone in on the craft and get better every day.
What was it like when all of a sudden now we're going to be going maybe 2-3 days in a row? That's also a change for endurance and how your arm feels and arm care.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment, but I think it's just it's important to stay on top of the recovery stuff and take care of your body. Obviously workload can be a lot, but it's important to just stay on top of that stuff and try to keep the arm feeling good every day so you can be available.
So you go to Cal, you get drafted by the A's, obviously go to the minor leagues, but at some point coming back to the Bay Area, I mean, we can see your college is just right up here. What's it like being back in the Bay Area now as a big leaguer?
Oh, it's awesome. I miss the weather. I miss the food. I missed friends I got around here, family. So it's awesome to be back in the Bay and be able to just enjoy all the great things that it has to offer.
Now you think about that big league moment. I always ask people, when was it? Because it happens for people at different times. What's that one moment where it's like, Grant Holman, I'm in the big leagues. Wow, I've dreamt about this my entire life, and it's here.
I didn't really have that moment until I got back to my room after the first game. Kind of just sat down on the bed and just kind of soaked in the whole day. Thought about everything that had happened, and I'd say that's when I really, fully the magnitude of what had happened that really hit me.
Yeah, because you had a bunch of family come up from San Diego, and they're all in the stands going crazy. It's interesting. So some people talk about when they first walk in the ballpark. So, when I first face a guy that I played in a video game, it's interesting that for you it's about reflection being back in the room.
Yeah, well, it was kind of funny the way it worked out. I actually ended up facing a high school teammate, first batter I faced, Casey Schmidt. So that, running out to the mound, I'm thinking, what are the odds of this? To come this far and then face somebody that I've known since I was 7 years old. So that was a cool moment in itself. I think that kind of helped to, mellow me out, remind me that it's the same game. But yeah, when I got home and, everything kind of heart rate finally slowed down, was able to take a few deep breaths, I think that's when it really soaked in.
And let's talk about the bullpen right now, because it's really becoming a strength and it's really kind of forming into a unit. It was at the beginning of the year that everybody got hurt, and now we're starting to see it again. Tell us what it's like down in that bullpen, power arms, and really Mark Kotsay can really rely on you guys, because now the A's are winning and it's about winning series.
It's been awesome down there. I think it's, just really important to have trust in one another. Know that, you're going to go in there, try to get the job done. If you don't, the guy who comes in after you is going to pick you up. I think it's just relying on one another and having confidence in yourself when you go out there.
When you're not the closer, you can really come in at any point. So how do you follow the game and maybe start to anticipate when that phone may ring and it's going to be you they're getting up?
I mean, you never really know, but you can kind of read the game and have a general idea in your head of, is this going to be me? Is this going to, where are we at in the lineup? Are there lefties coming up, or so on and so forth? Just kind of just reading the how the game falls together, and you never really know, but just trying to stay ready as and be available as possible.
And when you think about this bullpen and the way this bullpen, where it's been in its baseball journey, right? TJ McFarland's 35 years old. Mason Miller is a brand new all-star hotshot, top prospect turned closer. I mean, there's so many. Tyler Ferguson been the bullpen forever. Have you picked guys' brains, got to learn about their journeys and talk about yourself and just how that might help you as a professional?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. Obviously there's so many guys on the staff with a bunch of experience who have been there and done it before. So yeah, just trying to pick their brains, on a daily basis, trying to learn what's made them successful, what they've, what they wish they would have done differently, what they're going to keep doing the same, and just kind of trying to watch them and see how they go about their business and how they operate as big leaguers.
Well, I hope we're doing this conversation for many years because we followed you. We're like, hey, you guys giving up around Midland. Hey, man, we kept asking Scott Emerson, Kotsay, and also David Force. When's he coming up? Yeah, he keeps getting everybody out. One more. What was the conversation like, Fran Reardon? How did they do it? How did they tell you you're coming up?
So Fran called me into his office and he said, hey, I haven't been able to line up any golf for Reno. So, don't worry about bringing your clubs. We don't have any tee times. I was like, oh, okay. That's kind of a bummer. And then he said, yeah. And also you're going to Oakland, so you won't need them. And I was like, well, that's awesome. So that was it. He teased me with a little disappointment and then gave me the good news.
The disappointment in golf, but by the way, you're going to live your dream.
Yeah.
Now that's it. Fran Reardon is a dear friend of this program. We love him and great man what he does down there. Well, congratulations. We're happy to have you. Like I said, I hope we do this for many years to come. How are you at bingo?
Not bad. I've never won, but I'm good at reading.
All right. Well, hey, have fun.
Yeah. Thank
bingo.
You. Thanks for having me on.
Do you just want to go to Mark Kotsay now? All right. We're running out of time. Thank you for coming on the program. Thank you, David Feldman, Jared Koenig. You played with Jared Koenig, right?
Yep.
Jared Koenig, now with the Brewers. Thank him for coming on the program. And now here is the Mark Kotsay Show. For the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. Check out their location in the Bay Area or go online to nestbedding.com for all of your bedding needs. Mark Kotsay, how are you?
I'm doing well, Towny. How are you?
It's been an interesting week. We're both dealing with the same thing, putting kids back in college. For me, for the first time, putting my twins in college. I know it's happening for you. It's interesting. People don't think about lives other than what they see you on the field, me, camera, listen to on the radio or on the streaming. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on in our lives away from baseball.
Yeah, a little bit. There's definitely some activity when you have children. I have an amazing wife, and she really kind of handles that side of our family. She's been great. But my daughters are, like you said, moving into college for their junior and sophomore years, and my son just started his junior year in high school. So, and as you said, you know all about it with your daughters starting college.
I think about your son and seeing your son around. Just talk about just not only for as a parent and the child relationship, but what it does for he's working with Darren Bush. He gets to see all these players. He gets to travel you. What's this experience like for your son?
No, it's been great. This summer's been really great. He obviously played a lot of travel ball this summer, but the times when we could get him up here and have him get this experience in a major league clubhouse around major league players, he's really benefited from that. He's seen the work that it takes on a consistent basis. He went home. I've never been the dad to push him and make him go do things. He's always had to ask if he wants help. And so he just recently started doing, some strength and conditioning at home. He asked, if there's more that he can do for a program standpoint. So, he's learned a lot this summer. He should benefit from it.
Wait a minute. You allow him to have dinner if he goes 0 for 4?
Allow him to have dinner. He doesn't have to go out and go to the batting cage.
Mow the lawn.
Right.
There's an interesting balance in a season like this because obviously our job is to promote the team, right? And I want to be happy. Hey, look how the team has played since July 1st. But then you look at the overall record. So in development, you're happy with some things, but it is still about winning games on an everyday basis. How do you balance that?
Yeah, that's difficult. It really is. It's challenging when, you want to give guys the opportunity to take those at-bats in those key situations when they match up. But again, you look at this Brewer team, they started out with a lot of young players. They did have a core of veteran guys that obviously have helped them and impacted them. But, they pinch hit more than we pinch hit. They match up out of the bullpen more than we match up out of the bullpen sometimes. So There's part of the development of that side of the game, but there's also the learning curve of how to win in the big leagues. And I think that we've made that transition a little bit. We understand now what it takes to win baseball games with the confidence, I think, that really started after that Philadelphia series. These guys are believing that they can win baseball games, and it was seen yesterday, against the Tampa team that's obviously competing for a wild card spot. They're a winning team above 500, and they had beaten us the last 2 days, and we came out yesterday and played well and got a W.
Obviously we have more bullpen usage than ever before, far more than when you were playing. And I think about a manager, you started out, it seems like forever ago, where the A's made the no moves. Like, it was like great. Like you had the same 13 pitchers, and then it just all changes and evolves. From the time you first started managing to now, learning how to use a bullpen and always having to deal with different players. What is that like?
Well, this year we've been actually fortunate from an injury standpoint, especially with the bullpen, but I don't feel like we've had as many pitchers roll through the 13 guys that we've had in the last 2 years.
You had record-setting numbers before, yeah.
We really did, and so there's been some continuity. There's been some ability to build roles and put guys in their roles, and that's really helped. Consistency always helps. And like you said, we started out the season without making a move. I think we were the only team at one point that lasted through April without making a pitching move based on injury or even performance. And then the injuries came. They came pretty quickly, and we managed that time frame. We obviously went through a difficult stretch of games, and now that you've seen a more consistent rotation, a more consistent bullpen, I think you're starting to see the form of these guys coming together as a group.
Yeah, we all know Mason Miller, but all of a sudden now you got Ferguson, you got Holman. I mean, talk about throwing Holman in. It's like, hey, kid, we know you got good stuff out of Cal, and we've all watched him. We've talked a lot about him on the show about what he's done, AA and AAA, not giving up any runs. You had confidence in him right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat forced to. We were running a little light and a little thin. When you win games, you use your leverage guys a lot, and those long guys kind of don't get those opportunities to pitch as much. But that's a good sign, and to have him in the fire, to give him the ball, and have faith from the success he's had throughout the season, especially in AAA, closing games. We still felt confident of him being able to handle that situation, and he did a really nice job.
Right-handed velocity out of the pen used to be a problem around here. Not so much anymore. Just talk about how that's been a big change.
Yeah, I think, overall velocity, I think, has increased. And better than anybody, you've been here longer than I have consistently, that the A's have never been real big on velocity guys. They've been bigger on sinker type pitchers, like a Chris Bassett. So I think looking at the velocity that we have now, looking how it's been playing, we've been able to throw more strikes with it, which is key, because you can always have stuff, but if you don't execute your stuff, then you're going to end up giving up a lot of runs, which we've done in the past without, you hear me talk consistently about giving up free bases, and we've done a great job limiting that.
We've talked a lot about Sears. We've talked a lot about Estes. Now let's just Spence and Beto, what they have done, what they have shown you.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They're continuing to get better and better throughout the season in these roles that they've had this opportunity to go out and capture. So it's been fun to watch. They're going to continue to get better, I think, and the confidence that you see, especially with a guy like Beto now. Scott Emerson's worked really hard on his mechanics, just getting him in line, getting the head, still and going in the right direction. It's really cleaned up some things for him, and you're seeing the success from it.
When you start looking at goals the rest of the way, do you set goals from this point on, things that you want to see the coaching staff, maybe goals with, or certain players? How do you talk about that? Because this is the late push that really sends you, springboards you into next year.
I think we started that already. I think these guys know that we want to finish up as a winning ball club. We want to have 2 more months where we post winning months and really move that needle in the right direction. I think Shea Langlier said it best, I think, when he was talking to John Shea. I didn't read the article because I don't do a lot of reading of those type of articles, but he mentioned something about, hey, we're going to finish this year off strong, and we're going to go into spring training with higher expectations next year to compete, to stay in it, and be a part of that divisional race. So those are great thoughts. Those are the right thoughts, and especially from a young group that is starting to feel, like I said, more confident and starting to taste what success feels like.
There's so much information out there. I'm glad you say that, because it's tough to kind of wall off the social media / media newsprint, whether it's radio, television, newspapers. Just why is that important? Just to not focus on that and read that stuff.
I mean, most of it's, I mean, the majority of what's written is negative, and I don't like to deal in the negative. I definitely am hard enough on myself and in processing decision making and the time and energy and effort I put into that. I'm not going to waste my time and energy reading stuff that really, everyone's allowed to have their opinion. They're allowed to voice it. I think it's great. There's a platform for it. I just don't get involved in it.
Thinking about guys that could be coming up, like when we see Jacob Wilson come up, just talk about how, and then you're going to have guys, you'll have a position player, you'll have a pitcher come up in September. Have you thought about how you'll utilize that? And time will change for certain guys at bats and innings.
Yeah, I definitely will, and I think the guys that are performing are going to get that opportunity to continue to stay in the lineup and continue to perform. It's going to be fun to watch Jacob Wilson. I think, he's currently in Vegas. He had another nice night last night with a couple doubles. The night before he walked twice, which is unusual, but great. It's a great sign for Jacob. So, I think, like you said, we'll get to add a position player as well. The AAA season goes longer now. It extends out to, I believe, September 22nd, maybe. So you can still utilize, moving guys up and down and using the options if you have them. And, it'll be a fun September to maybe get a look at different guys, but I want to also make sure that these guys in this room that have earned this opportunity continue to go out and get that chance.
Sunday, I don't know if you're going to get the chance, but there's going to be a whole thing on Greg Maddux on MLB Network. And when you talk about somebody in a profession who is looked at as a genius, and one of the things that they really talk about is he was so good at simplifying everything. And I've heard the same thing like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. Simplify what's hard, simplify it. When you think back of your time competing against Greg Maddux and thinking about a guy like that who wasn't about velocity, just what was it like playing against him?
No, he was an artist. He painted. And what I mean by that is, he would set an at-bat up. Like, I know I've seen a little bit of the special that's been, on.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah, it looks great. And I thought I'd make that list of guys that have had at-bats against him. I think I had 40 or 45 at-bats. I believe I did pretty well off of Greg because I took a simple approach. So he was simple, I was simple. First pitch fastball, outer third, sinking away, hit a line drive to left field, take your hit, first at bat, and then you got to go to work because then he's not going to do the same thing. So, that was my approach off Greg. And I loved competing against him, ultimate competitor, bulldog guy. And it was always fun when you just stepped in the box and knew what you were getting.
Yeah, because it's so different than the big guy up there huffing and puffing and blowing gas. That was not his game.
No, he was a wiffle ball artist. He could make it go any direction and set up pitches, set you up for the third at bat of the game when he needed you out the most, when there was runners in scoring position. So, like you said, he kept it simple, but he was one of the masterminds of pitching.
He pitched Jeff Bagwell a certain way in the season, knowing that he would face Bagwell in the postseason and he'd be completely opposite. Just the thinking, the mindset where they said he would set people up in spring training for the season. The way do we still do that to guys out here? Are they in spring training trying to set guys up for the regular season?
The data doesn't do that. I don't think guys are thinking that far ahead. No.
Can we still teach that?
I think you can teach it. I think when you have guys that are going to be here for a long time or, a certain amount of time, that you can build those type of relationships and have those deeper conversations as to, hey, we're going to face this guy another 5 times this season. Like, it might not be a bad idea to pitch him one way and then switch it and pitch him a different way.
Let's end this. And I was thinking about text. It was late. I was thinking about texting you. Is this Don Zimmer getting thrown out? And he just went ballistic.
the art of getting thrown out of a game. What is it like now that you've done it a few times? Like, do you ever think about really going ballistic, or what is your philosophy? You know you're going to get run. What's the philosophy?
I don't really have a philosophy. The only thing I want to do is make sure that I support my players, make sure that they know that I'm there for them and I'm going to fight for them. It's not ever about me. It's just about the moment. And when you get out there, there's no planned thought about how it's going to go. There's no planned thought about when I'm going to get rung. It's just the moment. And that's where you see the emotion of the moment come out of me. At times maybe excessively. But there's times also when there's not a ton of emotion about it. It's just getting a point across and being simple to the fact that, hey, you know what, your zone is terrible today, or it could be as simple as, your judgment is off.
Fans ask, we'll end on this. Fans ask all the time, well, then what do you do?
I come up in here, and if I'm still hot, there may be a wall or two that takes the beating, but most often I sit with my lineup card and I'm on a delay in here watching the game, but still kind of managing it from afar.
Because, the delay, you can't be telling the dugout what to do.
No, that's Darren Bush's job once I leave that.
Because, people don't realize that they used to go on, or Bobby Valentine would put a mustache on and go sit in the dugout, but they've regulated against that once it's over.
I think there's a rule now that you can go sit in the stands. So next year in Sacramento, if I'm so blessed to be there with this team in the future, I may just walk up, and because it's going to be a long walk out through the outfield.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just walk up and sit in the stands.
Hey, I'll buy you food, beers, whatever you want. We sit in the stands, and
there we go.
Why can't you manage the game from the stands?
It'll be fun.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
That's a Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by NestBedding.com. Love where you sleep.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the pennant race action and the upcoming NFL and college football seasons. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.